These are all exactly the same photograph. Same camera, same composition, same exposure. The only thing that I've changed is the relationship between the colors. So which version is correct? Today I want to show you how a little color theory can completely change the way a photograph is seen. When most photographers think about color grading, they often think about the finishing touches. Maybe making the image a little bit warmer, maybe cooling it down slightly. But color grading can be so much more than that, and it can become part of the design process itself. The colors that we choose in our photographs influence how the viewer sees the photograph. Today I'm going to be taking this single long exposure photograph and create multiple versions using a range of color theory techniques and principles. We'll be exploring monochromatic, triadic, analogous, complementary, and color discord. And by the end of this, we'll see how one simple photograph can become multiple variations from one simple scene. Okay, so before we jump in, let's take a look at the original photograph. So this is a long exposure coastal image I made several years ago. It has some simple structure, strong leading lines, and a calm horizon with plenty of open space. That simplicity itself should make it a great image for exploring color because the colors themselves will become part of the dominant design elements. And before I jump into any color gradient, I'm just going to make some basic global adjustments to this photo, and we use the same on every shot as well. So we're using camera standard, auto, white balance, auto, and that is all I'm going to be doing. The rest is all going to be color grading. So let's crack on with it. So let's start with the monochromatic color scheme. Our monochromatic scheme uses variations of a single color family. That doesn't mean everything becomes exactly the same color, but instead it means we're going to work with different tints, tones, and shades of just one hue. So for the monochromatic color scheme, I'm going to be choosing a blue hue as well to work with. So we're going to work with shadows, the midtones, and the lights. We may touch a little bit of the sky as well. So touching nothing else, we're just going to go straight into color grading. We'll start off with the highlights, and we're going to go monochrome all down here. So we're going to choose a blue, the highlights, just a little bit soft. Drop the luminance down slightly. Midtones, we're going to go blue again. Maybe around there. Luminance. So then for our shadows, we might go a little bit of a deeper blue. Really make it nice and cool. We'll go deep on that. Quite nice. I think I'm going to add a sky element just to balance this out as well. I'm going to do some blue tones in the sky. But the blue tones in the sky are quite simple because we can just drop our temperature down ever so slightly. Not too much, we don't want to go crazy. And maybe drop the boost the contrast to get some of these blues in. Nice. Now, as we've developed this photo, it's quite clear to see how unified the colors become. There's nothing really sort of competing with each other. All the blues are working together. What I like about this monochromatic scheme is the calm that it really introduces into the, particularly with long exposures. I know you can get the cast from the filter itself, particularly like big stoppers and little stoppers and super stoppers. They do add a blue tint, but we're in control of what we're doing here. And this scheme can also be very elegant and minimal as well in its approach, allowing the viewer to focus on the structure and the textures within the photograph. Next we have an analogous color scheme. Analogous colors sit next to each other on the color wheel. Because they are closely related, they naturally create harmony. So for the analogous scheme, I'm going to be using more warm colors. I'm going to be choosing sort of your yellows, oranges, and reds around that area to make a much more warmer pattern going on in the photo. So let's dive in. So again, we've got everything set as standard as we would. I'm going to jump straight into our color grading. And I'm going to warm our highlights. Again, this section around here. So we have a nice sky there. I'm going to go yellowy, orange in the middle, the midtones. And then for our shadows, maybe warm as well. So look at all three. They're roughly in the same area. Again, analogous. Drop the luminance there on shadows. That's nice. Then we're going to make a little edit on the sky as well, like we did previously. Maybe add a little bit of pinky purple to it. And increase that contrast as well, just to bring those clouds out so slightly. Now, I'm not doing major detail work on this. This is just an example of how the colors can change the photograph. You can go into much, much more detail if you want as well. So within a few clicks, we've made a nice analogous color scheme that we can use to warm up this photo and make it completely different to that monochromatic one without changing any of the photo other than that. Now things become a little more dynamic. Complementary colors sit opposite each other on the color wheel. Rather than creating harmony, they create contrast. Okay, so the complementary color schemes, particularly with coastal long exposures with a little bit of a hint of a sunset, a lot of the work has already been done by nature itself. So you've got nice warm colors in the sky and you've got nice blues. They are automatically opposite on the color wheel. So back to our standard photo, color grading. So we're going to warm up our sky. Like so. We're going to jump in and do a mask as well on the sky as well, and warm it up a little bit more as well. Midtones. Go light blue here, and then maybe on the shadows. But luminance there, and on the shadow, the highlights, we're going to boost the luminance as well, not too much. We got sky. Really add a bit of pop in here as well now. I'm going to drop that exposure just to really enforce those colors in the sky. It looks really quite nice. So what we've done with this complementary color scheme is introduce quite a bit of visual energy into the photo. The colors sort of push against each other a little bit instead of sort of blending into each other. So you've got sort of your pinks, your reds, and your blues kicking off. So if we use these complementary colors cleverly, we can create powerful focal points within the photograph and help lead our viewer's eye through the photo as we desire. And compared to the previous versions that we've just done, this interpretation feels much more dynamic and energetic. The next approach is triadic color harmony. A triadic color scheme uses 3 colors spaced evenly around the color wheel. This often creates a vibrant and balanced palette. The challenge with triadic color schemes is maintaining control. Usually one color needs to dominate while the others support it, otherwise it can become visually quite chaotic. So we've got our photo here. Let's just jump into color grading again. So in our highlights, the triadic, we're going to jump into maybe orangey pink up there. That's quite nice up there. Then we've got midtones around here. Ooh, not too much green, but I quite like that. Balance. Ooh. Shadows. Go the other side. The blues. So for the sake of the video here, I've forced some of those colors a little bit so you can see them. But in the top right here, we've got our orangey yellowy colors. Then in our midtones, we got this nice sort of greeny sort of tint. And then in the shadows, you've got this blue element coming out as well. I may just add a little contrast into that sky. Not too much. Increase the warmth slightly as well, just to make it a little bit more obvious on the screen of where the 3 colors are coming in as well. I still think it could, even though it's quite stylized, I do think it looks quite nice. And so far, we looked at color schemes that are balanced and work together. They're harmonious and they're visually comfortable. But not all of our color choices need to be comfortable. Sometimes we may want to deliberately cause tension, and that is where color discordance comes in. Discordant color schemes intentionally put together colors that shouldn't really work together. They're not harmonious. Instead of harmony, they create friction, and instead of calm, they can create tension. Now, for this version, I'm going to be moving away from creating a harmonious approach to color schemes. The goal here isn't going to be realism, it's going to be impact, and to create colors, or at least clashing elements instead of nice colors that blend together. And what's interesting about discordant colors, or a discordant color scheme, is often it can create the biggest impact on the viewer as well. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it as well. You know, I'm not a massive fan, but let's give it a go. Now, to do this, I'm going to be jumping into Photoshop. So we've got our photo open here. Let's crack on with this. So we're going to duplicate our layer first by pressing Control J. On that layer, we're going to call this color, because that's where the color is going to come from. And I'm going to drain all the background color out by applying some black and white nick effects, silver effects. Now, for the sake of just showing it, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to be using one of their simpler recipes that they've got. I'd like that sky to be a bit dramatic as well. So we've got some graduated ones here. Maybe a bit too much. Way too much. That'll do. Dark pop. So we're going to apply that layer there. I'm just going to press apply. Eagle-eyed among you will see that I've still got some sensor spots and watermarks on the screen as well. But like I said, this is about showing over the color schemes and how we can do, not necessarily fine-tuning the photo. So we're going to move that down there. I'm going to blend those layers together. There's probably a quicker and more efficient way of doing this, but this is how I'm doing it. So now we've got our background color, and I'm going to paint some color from this color layer here by using Lumenzia. So I want the green from the seaweed because I think this really does have quite a contrasting element. And of all the colors this is probably one of the brightest as well. So I'm going to click on green. And we're going to expand this selection a bit as well. So let's make this bigger here. Ooh, wrong way. Nice. Push it a little bit more so that we can see what we're doing here as well. So now all the green areas of the photograph are selected, which means that when I press mask, it's going to bring the black and white in from the background in and just leave this discordant green in the foreground here as well. So we click on mask. There we are. Look at that. I could have probably gone a little bit more on the green, but instantly we've got this black and white photograph with this lovely discordance going on with this green in the foreground as well. And I think it's done a nice element of blending it in. Do I like it? Not a massive amount, but for example purposes, you can see what a discordant color scheme looks like. Now, I know that this is probably going to be the most divisive version of the photograph that I've done here, but it does demonstrate something important. Color theory and grading isn't just understanding the harmony that's going on. It's also about when to break that harmony that is going on within the photograph and create a talking focal point that's going on within your photos. So photography isn't always simply about just recording a scene. It can be about the interpretation of that scene. Every decision that we make whilst taking the photograph and editing influences the experience that the viewer has of that photograph. Whichever the color grading schemes that you prefer, and it can genuinely depend on what photograph you're doing and what type of photograph that you're doing. Each one of the approaches offers its own unique way of interpreting that photograph to represent to the viewer. So next time you're editing a photograph, try experimenting with different color relationships, not just tweaking colors because each one might look nicer than the other. You know, experiment a little with them. You might be surprised how much it changes the look on your final photograph. I'd love to know which you preferred or any thoughts that you have on any of these schemes or any other schemes that you may know of as well. So do drop some comments in down below. And thank you very much for watching. I really enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you the next time.